And they're still saying that, it's still kind of up in the air when it comes to Stanford and Washington and many of those Pac-12 schools. So the plan for the NFL.
Trevor Lawrence had his pro day the other day. The Jacksonville Jaguars basically sent an entire photo shoot there to document that. There's no surprise there. He is going number 1 overall. You could put him on the team now and no one would complain one bit. But, we had talked about here, you had talked about here on Draft Insiders, had reported on ProFootballNetwork.com in your mailbags and in your articles and in your Senior Bowl rumors and such, that workout facilities would be holding pro days in the coming months, and of course also team facilities. And so it was spoken about here. It was later confirmed by ESPN. What is the very latest, what you're hearing on that and other pro days across the country?
Yeah, well, what ESPN reported is that the Exos facilities in Pensacola, Florida, in Texas, and I believe Arizona is the other one, they're going to hold combine-type workouts next week when the combine would usually take place. They're basically going to hold pro day workouts for the players at those facilities who want to participate. Now, what have I learned? I've learned, number one, NFL scouts are not going to be able to attend those workouts. It's basically going to be, they're considered private workouts. We talked about this after the Senior Bowl with the whole Davis Mills situation. The NFL is not allowing their scouts to go attend these workouts. I'm also told that a lot of the players who are on hand at these training facilities are actually not going to participate. So while it's going to be a big talking point and there's going to be a lot of coverage of it, there's not a lot of guys who are going to participate in this. They are basically going to wait and hold off until they get their pro days underway, or they hopefully get their pro days underway later in March. When I talk to people around the league, scouts and the teams really are not going to put too much, I don't know if credibility is the right word. They're not going to put a whole lot of stock in the testing numbers, specifically the 40 time, the 3-cone time, the shuttle time. They're not going to put a lot of stock in the numbers that come out of those facilities. They will, though. They are very interested in the film of the position drills, the practice sessions, if you will. They're going to watch those because that's going to be much more limited. Remember, we talk about the 40 times and the vertical jumps at the combine, but the position drills are just as important. And now you're going to have just limited film of the position drills, hopefully at the players' pro days. So no NFL scouts. I'm told that these pro days will be run by a lot of former and retired NFL scouts. They're not going to put too much credibility in the times, but they're going to look at the position drills. The ESPN article mentioned the Exos facilities, but there are a lot of facilities around the nation that I've talked to, especially in California, that are going to hold similar type of combine workouts for the players that are working out there, that are training there in the next couple of weeks.
So when we look at the pro days, right, those usually take place after the NFL scouting combine.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be, it's going to be in a very funky state this year. Last year, they were all canceled. This year, they're going to be holding them. There's going to be some uneven playing fields, as you've discussed here on the Draft Insiders podcast. The combine itself, right, and the pro days will also help with this, but the combine itself was really there to get a real good up-close look. One-on-one interviews with these players, some measurements, some weigh-ins, but really also the medicals, right? And so while the NFL is working with the schools to encourage consistency in testing and drills across pro days to kind of replicate that, also have access to video, whether or not that club is at that particular workout, rules about timing and testing of players and club personnel attendance, that's going to be further clarified by the NFL in the coming days and weeks. But really, again, it comes back to the medicals. And so the NFL sent a memorandum around to the chief executives, club presidents, GMs, head coaches, and medical staffs for all the teams. And part of the paragraph said this: with the assistance of a working group of club physicians and athletic trainers, we are developing a plan to obtain comprehensive medical information on each of the invited prospects. This plan will likely involve a combination of virtual. Tony, beyond what you're hearing about the workouts at these training facilities across the nation, what other updates can you give us on pro day workouts?
I'm told that the NFL and the teams are still relying on school pro days to take place. That's where the crux of their information is going to come as far as the measurements, the testing, the position drills. I'm told that the NFL will allow a school to have as many pro days as they want. And this is because of the potential limited amount of attendance that schools are basically going to allow at a pro day. They may only allow, 5 to 10 people, 5 to 10 scouts or coaches in to view a pro day. So the remedy for that, as far as the NFL is concerned, is for a school to have multiple pro days. Maybe you have offense one day and you have defense the next day. This way, when you have your pro day with the offensive player, all your offensive coaches can come. The defense, your defensive coaches can come. If a school's got like Alabama, where you got a bunch of offensive linemen who are going to be selected, a bunch of receivers who are going to be drafted, a quarterback who's going to be drafted, a ton of guys in the defensive back seven, you may have 3 or 4 pro days. Although that is what the NFL is allowing the schools to do. Whether the schools follow suit on that, follow through on that and say, yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll have 4 pro days, a la Clemson or Alabama. That remains to be seen. I'm still hearing that the pro days from the Pac-12 schools on the West Coast are still very iffy. I've talked with somebody about that today, and they're still saying that, it's still kind of up in the air when it comes to Stanford and Washington and many of those Pac-12 schools. So the plan for the NFL is that a school can have as many pro days as they want to accommodate as many people from the NFL teams that need to be at the pro days. But I don't know that the schools are going to follow suit with that.